have a habit of writing my thoughts. So I wrote, Kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope, how you fascinated me. You created beauty with tiny, shiny bits of pieces. But have you tried something like this in a kaleidoscope? I actually tried some mud in it, but really it disappointed me. That's certainly because it failed to create a beautiful pattern with this non-reflective substance in it. When I was a kid, this was a toy that could bring joy to me. It was so fascinating to see all this beauty that created inside it. But later, when I learned about its name, kaleidoscope, I really fell in love with that word because it sounds Greek. Indeed, it has a Greek origin. From the words kalos, for beautiful, eidos, to form, and scorpio, or scorpion, to look, summing up to the idea of to look at something that is beautifully formed. Scientifically, this optical instrument is its working principle is the law of multiple reflection, and a famous physicist called Sir David Brewster invented this in 1816 and was patented in 1817. And also, this is a great source of creativity for professionals like architects and fashion designers, where they use these designs and bring them to life. But later on, when I was reflecting on my past experiences as a grown-up, I had an epiphany. I was thinking, from the day that we were born, our life becomes more challenging with different choices and decisions that we have to make, sometimes different people that we get to deal with, and also different states of minds and feelings that we get to go through. This self-reflection led me to see a fascinating connection between the kaleidoscope and positively facing challenges in life. Human mind is also like a kaleidoscope. We feed it with our thoughts. And whenever you are confronted with a challenge, it's really important that you construct positive thoughts for better results that you would desire to see in life. And when you're striving towards success, have you ever been productive when you are feeling sad and low? None of us, right? So I think creating happiness throughout your journey, like you spin a kaleidoscope to bring joy, is very important. And the mechanism that you would use to create happiness throughout your journey would differ from a person to another person, depending on different situations as well. And what do we do once we win or overcome an obstacle? We celebrate. And we got to make this the point where we cherish our moments, share our thoughts and the ups and downs that we had to go through throughout this journey towards success, because this could definitely encourage and empower another to face a challenge better next time. So let me tell you how I related this idea to some challenges that I had in 3 different stages in my life. Stage 1, it was when I was a kid. Unlike now, I was a tomboy, very naughty, silly, not much into studies. And I had a very mischievous friend group in which I was part of it. I was very proud. And as suggested by my friends, one day I asked for some money from my mother, saying that I have to pay my facility school fees. And then the next day, I somehow managed to get that money from my mom, even though she was skeptical about it. But then again, obviously my class teacher did not ask for the money next day. And there I was throwing a party, buying chocolates to my friends. For a moment, I felt victorious. And then I felt as if I'm the coolest and the most generous one in the gang. But this feeling did not last much because my mother kept asking for the receipt. And I had to casually lie that I did not get it. And then 2 days after, I saw her coming and meeting my class teacher. And that day, knowing her nature, I realized that it's going to be the end of my disguise. and that's going to be the day of judgment as well. So that afternoon when I went home, all I could remember was me getting beaten up immensely. I was broken, not physically, but mentally, because each word that she uttered were not about the loss of the money, but how disappointed she was about my character, how upset she would be to picture my future. And this was a situation that challenged me to be a better version of myself. I was crying for days, and then again I realized that it doesn't help me at all to wipe away the stigma that I earned as a liar, and surprisingly, my friends disliked me as well. So I had to construct my thoughts. I developed a mindset that I would be a better version to make my parents happy, and now I have to create happiness throughout my journey to success. So I chose to surround myself with books, leaving all the negativity behind, and focusing only on what I want to become, getting only the advices that would only make me a better version. And yes, they did notice my transformation, and I was able to academically incline as well, which was a celebration point for me. And because of this transformation, and whenever someone asks me how I built a better character, now I have this story of the magical touch of my dear mother's beating up. Second stage was when I was a teenager. What was your great struggle when you were a teenager, or else now, since I see a lot of teenagers here, most of us try to balance our studies, academics, and maybe sports, and also extracurricular. Well, for me, sports was not that much an issue because I was not selected to any of those sports that I wanted to participate in. And so my greatest obstacle was to somehow get through my A-levels. And the situation was, even though I wanted to choose an art stream, for some reasons, I had to choose only between biology or mathematics. So I could remember initially having no clue what to choose. I chose biology, and there was sitting on the first bench in a bio class, but I was hypnotized and was dozing off when my bio teacher was explicitly explaining about the human cell structure and its wonders. Getting caught red-handed for like 3 classes in a row, unable to bear the shame, I had to switch to combined mathematics, but still, I had no escape from chemistry, which I felt the same way as biology. I was okay managing my studies, and my parents thought I was doing okay until I failed only in chemistry in my first attempt. But in Sri Lanka, going for a second try is not a big deal. So I studied a bit more harder, and again failed in chemistry in my second try. I felt like I was stuck in a video game with 2 lives down and only 1 life to go. Because I know if I don't get through my third try of A-levels, I would not have a better future, because I was not that of a sports person either. So I was broken, almost trying to give up on my AL's third try. But luckily, I had my brother, whom I considered to be my role model. So he taught me to not to give up whenever life knocks me down, and to use our strategies, different strategies, to overcome our fears and challenges in life. And that helped me a lot. So I constructed my thoughts by how developing an I can do it and I will do it attitude. Pretty cliche, but isn't that how we all start? So I was now thinking, how am I supposed to create happiness when I really don't love chemistry, and I had very limited time, and I would not be able to absorb the whole syllabus to my head. But then again, I was looking into the strategies that I could use. And luckily, I had this photographic memory that I could be using to retain certain things for a certain time period. And my visual learning styles, which helped me a lot. I filled my walls with all sorts of chemical reactions, the colors of chemical compounds, and the periodic table and whatnot. I was like gazing at my walls, trying to capture everything in my mind. And it really helped. I was somehow able to get through my third time in my A-levels and was lucky enough to get into the university as well. So the message of celebration is that whenever you feel broken and when you want to give up, sometimes we cannot get on track all by ourselves. So at that times, look up for a role model. That would be a great support system. And remember, perseverance is key to success. Moving on to this stage where after I graduated, when I was at a stage of looking for career options, I got the opportunity to work in different multinational companies. And like Mr. Thiru, who said, I also thought that at first I would someday become the CEO of such company. But 2 years down the line, I realized that I was not happy doing my job. Work stress, but I had good bosses and team members, but still, my inner voice kept asking me, are you happy doing what you're doing right now? It's just the path that you chose brought you here. Will you take a career shift, which was my challenging question next in my life. So I paused for a while and thought, I believe that we have to do something that we really love in our life so that we could be productive. Studies have shown that happier workers are more productive. And when I was not happy at my job, I was not productive at all. So I thought, now I'm at a stage where I could make my own decisions. There are times that we are unable to make our own decisions, especially when we are dependents. But when the time is right, we have to step forward. And I have to also remember that whatever decision that we make is going to affect you and your surrounding, like a ripple effect. So keeping this in my mind, I constructed my thoughts, and then took a few steps backwards in my journey and boldly started new. I created happiness by choosing to teach at a school, leaving all the fringe benefits of a corporate sector behind. And now I'm happy to say that it's the best decision that I made in my career. And now I get to spend most of my time with kids like you, sharing knowledge, exchanging ideas, encouraging each other, and also celebrating small wins every time. That would encourage and empower another. So this concept that I had with this kaleidoscope, I call it the Kaleidoscopy for life. A simple approach with the 3 C's that you can apply to positively face any challenge in life. This is no rocket science. I think most of you would have had these similar experiences that I talked about, or maybe the same ones. Every time you're confronted with a challenge, construct your thoughts, create happiness, and also celebrate your wins to encourage and empower another. So in all 3 major turning points in my life, I had paradigm shifts in my character, my personality, and also decision making. I give you this idea of mine, which is the Kaleidoscopy for life, for you, and I warmly welcome you to use the 3 C's whenever you are confronted with any challenge. Look at this and try to look at a brighter design to make a brighter success plan for you, and see a brighter design for a brighter you and a brighter future. Remember, finders, keepers. Thank you.